Hello everyone, this is Daniel with FitnessBlender.com, and today we're going to be doing a shoulder-specific upper body routine. So all of these exercises we're going to be doing work multiple muscle groups in the upper body, but specifically target that shoulder. So we're going to be doing each one of these exercises for a minute each with a 15-second break to get to the next one. We're going to be doing a superset, so back and forth. We have 8 total exercises to go through. So I have not included a warm-up, so you need to do one of those on your own. Make sure you really warm up those shoulders really well. We'll be right back to get started. All right, everybody, now that you've got your warm-up in, we are going to be starting into this routine. Like I said, we have a minute for each exercise with a 15-second break to kind of switch back and forth, switch your weights if you need to. Now you're going to be needing a set of dumbbells for this, so go ahead and grab those dumbbells if you haven't already. And I would highly suggest an adjustable bench for some of these exercises. You don't necessarily need one, but it does make it a lot easier. So if you don't have one, you can do most of these exercises just laying on the floor or standing. For the ones where you need an incline, you can actually just lean up against your couch and just kind of scoot your butt out to the very edge so you're kind of at an angle. So other than that, let's go ahead and get started. And we're starting off with that incline chest press first. So get that bench ready or sit on the edge of that couch. So go ahead and grab your weight for this and sit down. An incline chest press is a little bit harder than a regular flat one, so you might need a little bit less than you would normally do for a chest press. All right, so take a seat. Nice and slow, drop those elbows out to the side and press it right back up. So this exercise is primarily focused on that chest. That's the main muscle that's doing the work here. Getting a little bit of assist from your tricep as well. But because we're at an angle tilted up, your shoulder's having to do a little bit of extra work as well. And the more angle you have, the more you sit up straight, the more work that shoulder's gonna have to take over. Just nice and slow, control that range of motion as much as is comfortable. Just keep those lungs open, breathing normally. Got about 15 seconds left. And let that relax. Go ahead and grab your weights for our next exercise, which is going to be an incline bent over row. So again, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. With this one, you're just going to tip forward about a 45-degree angle. Nice and slow, pull those arms up and out to the sides. So you don't want to be flat down parallel to the ground like you would for a normal bent over row. We actually want to be up at an angle, so it's going to force the rear part of that deltoid to have to do more work. Just keep those lungs open. Focus on that range of motion. Try to get a nice tight squeeze at the top. Again, just like that chest press, that incline chest press, the more you stand up straight, the more that shoulder is going to have to work. Just keep that motion going. Make sure you're picking a weight that is difficult for you to finish all of those repetitions. So you want to be to the point where at the end of that minute, you're really struggling to get those last few repetitions in. All right, let's switch back. So back to that incline chest press. And start in. Nice, slow, fluid range of motion. Again, like I said, if you don't have a bench, if you're not doing this at a gym or you just don't have a bench at your house, you can do this on a couch or on a chair. As long as you can scoot your butt way out, it's going to make you have to work your core really, really hard because you're going to be kind of arching your back up to put all the pressure on your butt and on your shoulders. So you're making a little bit of a bridge from the back of that couch down to where you're seated. Just keep that core nice and tight. Try not to arch that back too much. Just focus on that form. Nice, slow, full range of motion. Got a little under 10 seconds left. All right, one more of that incline row. So that second set should really be where you're feeling that fatigue, where you're starting to feel it get really difficult to finish all of those repetitions or finish all the way through that specific time frame. So just focus on that range of motion. Try to get a nice full range of motion even as those muscles start giving out on you. Take a little bit of a break if you need to. Try to keep them moving as best you can. Make sure the back stays nice and flat. You don't want to round those shoulders over. You want to keep that back arched, feeling like you're kind of poking your butt out back behind you a little bit. Just a few seconds left. 5 seconds. And let it relax. All right. We're going to flatten that bench out and move to our next exercise, which is going to be a supine, ventral raise. So start out relatively light. In behind here a little bit. So laying flat on your back. Start with those hands directly above those shoulders. Drop your dumbbells down by your sides, past your body if it's comfortable, and then pull it right back up again. If you're doing this laying on the ground, you're just going to stop those arms right next to your hips and pull back up. Just make sure you're keeping it a little bit tense the entire time. So this is a range of motion that your shoulder typically doesn't get a whole lot of work in, so you're probably going to feel pretty weak in this. Even if you're used to doing a ventral raise standing with a lot of weight, it's a different part of that range of motion. So just because you have strength in one range doesn't mean you have strength in the whole range. Just keep those lungs open. All right, so I'm going to keep the same weight I'm at. We're going to do a pullover next, a dumbbell pullover. So it's almost the exact same motion, but over your head and back rather than down past your hips and back. All right, lay out flat, hands up over your head. Slowly drop those hands straight down back behind you as far as is comfortable, and then pull them right back up. Again, if you're doing this laying on the ground, those hands are going to stop when they touch the ground. If you can get them down that far, if you have that much control. If you don't have that much control, you might be lifting a little bit too much weight. So try to get those hands all the way down to the ground, barely touch that dumbbell to the ground, and right back up. Again, if you're doing this off of a bench, drop those arms as far as you can control, as far as it's comfortable on that shoulder. And right back up over top of that shoulder socket. Again, just keep those lungs open. Try to keep that back flat down against that mat or that bench. As those hands come up over top of your head, you're going to have a tendency to want to arch your back up, and you don't want to do that. You want to try to keep your back nice and flat so your rib cage doesn't tilt. And let that relax. All right, I think I'm going to stay with this weight again. So we're just going to start right back over again with that supine ventral raise. So again, laying flat on your back, starting with that dumbbell straight above that shoulder. This time going down towards those hips. Nice and slow, drop them down. As low as is comfortable. And right back up. Take your time. Keep those lungs open. Don't build any momentum into it. Make those muscles have to work all the way through that full range of motion. Again, if you are not starting to feel a really good burn on these muscles in this second set, then you need to increase that weight the next time you do this routine. Might not take much, might only take an extra couple pounds You always want to make sure that you're challenging yourself. All right, so we got one more set of that dumbbell pullover. So same exact position. And again, I'm going to try to stay with the same weight. All right, lay out flat back. Hands straight above that shoulder, drop them over top of your head. Nice and slow. And then right back up again. Try not to let those dumbbells touch. A lot of times when you're doing pullovers, your body's going to want to smash those dumbbells together to squeeze them together so your arms can actually kind of help each other get through that range of motion. But if you keep those hands hovering apart from one another, each arm is going to have to do the same amount of work for that full range of motion. You don't get to cheat. And let that relax. All right, that is the last one of those, which means we are going to be coming back in just a bit to do the second half of this routine. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get this second half of this routine finished up. So we're going to be starting off with a lateral raise, which is pulling those dumbbells out to the side. So go ahead and grab your weights for that. I suggest using something really, really light because that lateral raise is deceptively difficult. You can always increase if you need to. So hands start at your sides, slight bend in your knee, and nice and slow, you're going to bring those arms up and out to the sides. So you're going to keep that palm facing down. So you're just going to bring that hand, that arm up as high as you possibly can without rotating that hand facing forward. It's going to limit that range of motion a little bit, but it's going to hit part of that shoulder that we really haven't focused on yet. So I want to make sure you keep that palm facing down and just get it up there as high as you possibly can. Nice, slow, fluid range of motion. Same speed on the way down as on the way up. Keeping those lungs open. If you've noticed that your range of motion is a lot less than mine, then I suggest dropping your weight to get that full range of motion. And if that still doesn't do it, then you just need to start working on flexibility for that extra range of motion. All right, we got about 10 seconds left, and then we're going to be switching over to a side pullover. And let that relax. I think I'm going to use the same amount of weight, but I'm going to drop down to just one dumbbell. You're going to lay down on just one side. I'm going to start with that left hand first. So hands going to start right above that shoulder, nice and slow. Drop it down over your head as far as it's comfortable. Right back up again, straight over top of that shoulder. So this is predominantly focusing on that lat, the outside of that rib cage, kind of back across your rib cage. But it's also having to use a lot of stabilizing muscles through that shoulder. Just keep those lungs open. Keep a nice fluid range of motion. When you come down to that head, make sure you don't bend that elbow like crazy. You're not getting anything out of that, so you want to keep that arm nice and straight. Just come down as low as you can. Touch that ear, bring it right back up. Just keep it going. Just got a few seconds left to go. And let that relax. We're going to switch back over to that lateral raise. So I'm going to grab that other dumbbell. Stand back up, nice and straight and tall. Slight bend in that knee. Nice and slow. Arms come up and out to the side as high as you can. Again, trying to keep that hand, palm of that hand facing straight down towards the ground, towards that thigh. Keep those lungs open. Focus on that range of motion. If you really start getting those shoulders burning like crazy, just take a few seconds to drop those hands back down, let them relax for just a second before you start right back in again. About 20 seconds left, just keep pushing through it. Almost done. 5 seconds left, keep it going. And let it relax. All right, we're gonna do that side pullover with the same hand as we did last time. So again, take a seat, lay over on that side. Try to keep those shoulders stacked, one on top of the other. Nice and slow. Bring that hand straight over top of your head and straight back over top of that shoulder. Focus on that form. Try to keep that arm nice and straight. Make sure you're keeping those lungs open, those core muscles nice and tight. They're not really doing a ton through this motion, of course, but you want them there for just a little bit of extra support. Just overall control of that body. Just keep focusing on a nice fluid range of motion. And let it relax. All right, stand back up. We're going to be doing a ventral raise next, so that's straight up in front. I'm going to use the same amount of weight. This time, you're going to bring those hands face forward on that palm, that palm facing forward on that thigh. Bring that hand straight up. Keeping those hands facing straight forward, that palm facing straight forward the entire time. Bring it directly above that shoulder, slowly back down to in front of that thigh, and right back up again. Just keep those lungs open, keep that motion nice and smooth. Again, try to keep that speed the same on the way up as it is on the way down. Try not to let those shoulders creep up towards those ears. You want to try to keep them pulled down on your back. Just a little under 10 seconds left. Whew, that's a good burn. All right, so we're going to switch to the other hand now. So we're going to do that pullover again, this time on the opposite side. So hand starts directly above that shoulder. Try to keep those shoulders stacked, one on top of the other. Hand comes down, keep that arm straight, pull it right back up again, stopping right above that shoulder. Try not to dip any further down. So nice and slow, over that head, pause right above that shoulder, back down. "30 seconds left. Just focus on that form. Focus on that speed. Keeping everything nice and tight through that core. Just going through that motion, nice and slow, under control. Trying to get as much range of motion out as you can. Also check to make sure you keep that arm nice and straight. Don't bend that elbow. And let that relax. We're going back to that ventral raise. So grab that other dumbbell again. Nice and straight and tall. Palms facing back towards those thighs. Bring it straight up over top of that head. Nice and slow. Straight back down. And remember, if you're using the right amount of weight, this second set should be burning like crazy. You might even need to take a little bit of a break or a little bit of a rest towards the end here before you finish. Got about 30 seconds left. Just about halfway. Like I was saying before, watch those shoulders. They're going to start trying to creep up towards those ears, especially as those shoulders start getting tired. But try to keep them pulled down on your sides. Almost done. And let that relax. All right, switching back to that side pull over. All right, lay down on your side. Hands straight up above that shoulder. And start up. Nice, slow, full range of motion. Keep those lungs open. Nice, slow, fluid motion. Make sure you're not building any momentum into that range of motion. You're not swinging or popping that weight up. You want a nice, slow, controlled range. Nice, slow, controlled speed. Keeping it as consistent as possible for that entire range of motion. Just keep it going. 10 seconds left. And let that relax. All right, that is the end of the weight portion of this routine. If you want to focus on those shoulders a little bit more, go ahead and hit pause. You can go through and do things like a traditional shoulder press, an Arnold press, different forms of the lateral and ventral raise with your palms facing different directions. Whatever you want to do. Otherwise, we're going to go into our cool down here in just a second. All right, everybody, the last thing we have to do is a nice cool down and stretch. And because we work some specific muscles, we're going to be doing some specific stretches as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be doing each one of these for 30 seconds, starting with an arm cross stretch. You can bring one arm across in front of your body, grab that elbow, and pull across nice and tight. You want to try to keep your chest straight up and down, getting that arm as close to your chest as you can. Try not to bring it down here or stretch really out far away from yourself. You want to try to bring it all the way in nice and close. So as soon as you have it in nice and close, you want to try to pull that arm across in front of your body to get the back of that shoulder to stretch out. All right, same thing on the other side. So grab that opposite elbow. Again, pull it up against your chest, nice and tight, and then pull across with that arm. Just breathe normal, let everything relax. Try to get that shoulder to pull as far as you possibly can, as long as it's comfortable. You want just a little bit of a stretch there and keep it consistent. So as it starts loosening up, start pulling a little harder. All right, just a few seconds left. Do an overhead tricep stretch. So we're going to bring that left arm up, back to that left shoulder, grab it with your right arm, and pull across back behind you as far as is comfortable. So you want to not only pull across so you're getting behind your head, but also kind of pull it back a little bit as well to get a little bit underneath that shoulder. Just keep stretching into it. Should feel it through the back of your tricep as well as down into that shoulder as well. Outside of that shoulder and back of that shoulder. Same thing on the other side. So bring that other hand up. Reach back to that same hand as shoulder. And pull across the opposite arm. Again, keep those lungs open. Try to let everything relax as much as you can. All right, next one. Feet just about shoulder width apart. Grab your hands back behind your back. Tip forward and let those arms kind of stretch out back behind you. Don't worry about locking those knees out. You can let those bend a little bit. So you should feel a little bit of a stretch to that hamstring, but predominantly you want to feel it up in that shoulder socket. Another way of doing this is if you have a high piece of furniture somewhere, you can put those hands up on top of that and stretch it that way instead of tipping over forward. All right, next one's gonna be a wall chest stretch. So find an open piece of wall, fingers facing back behind you, rotate that shoulder out away. Should be feeling it through the palm of your hand, through the front of that forearm, and into that chest as well. If you're feeling it more in your arm than you are your chest, then try to bring that hand a little further back behind you and rotate a little bit more. You should feel a little bit more in that chest. Feeling too much in your bicep, just rotate that elbow until you feel it go away. Same thing on the other side. Rotate around. And we're doing a wing stretch next. So you can bring those hands down by your sides, pull them in nice and close. So you're kind of squeezing those arms in towards one another, those elbows in towards one another. So you should feel this kind of up in that shoulder quite a bit. A little bit more in the shoulder socket rather than the muscle of the shoulder. And we're doing two more. So we're going to do a forearm stretch. Grab those fingers, pull them back. A nice tight stretch. Grab that thumb. Switch sides, same thing on the other side. Grab that thumb. And let it relax. All right, guys, do some more stretches if you like. Otherwise, this workout is complete. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.